Hi, my name is Dawn Lee Cardy. My daughter was born with frontal lobe epilepsy, and she would seize up to 65 times a day. My daughter's also been introduced to at least 17 different pharmaceuticals in her short period of life. I began to medicate her with CBD oil, and the results were amazing. 5 years later, Zoe is 80% seizure-free, pharmaceutical-free, and hospital-free.
My name is Unita Nichols. I was arrested and my house was raided because of the smell of cannabis. They took my plants, they took all of my money. I was in jail over the holiday with inadequate food, with inadequate medication. This is my testimony.
See, I gave him a half an ounce. Police pulled up on me. Said I sold it to him, but I really didn't. I gave him the weed. I told him to roll the J for me. 5-10 minutes later, pulled up on me, locked me up, take my weed, took my money.
And on April 20th, 2017, at around 1 p.m., at the first annual Congressional Joint Session put on by DCMJ, I was the third of 7 people to be arrested by U.S. Capitol Police. They told me that I was being arrested for distribution, and I wasn't. I was giving it out. They told us that we were on federal land when we were doing it. We were not. We were on DC land. The police were actually the ones who moved us from DC land over to federal property for handing out joints legally to congressional staffers who were over the age of 21. They led us to a room where we sat there with no water, no food, our ankles shackled until about 5 p.m. All us DCMJ arrestees were released after 28 hours of unlawful detention with no charges at 5 p.m. Friday, April 21st. But since we were never read our Miranda rights, because the police had no intention of convicting us because they knew they couldn't get a conviction, we were released with no charges.
My name is Kyla Hill, and I am an advocate for modern-day cannabis justice reform. Since 2018, 663,000 people have been arrested for cannabis-related offenses. That accounts for over 40% of all drug-related offenses. In 2019, 840 people are arrested for cannabis-related offenses. 37 were white, 3 were Asian, 47 were minors, and a whopping 698 were black. That's over 83% of all cannabis-related offenses in DC were black people in 2019.
And how would you run it, JB?
1, gonna be legal. 2, gonna be making opportunities for other brothers and sisters. 3, will make sure to give back to the neighborhood and give back to the city.
I think we need the ability to have our own legitimate cannabis businesses because currently the dispensaries are all tied into political issues and financial issues. When I went to the dispensary to try to get meds, I got things that were tainted. I got products that were subpar. And as a result, I had to go research, study, grow my own meds, and make my own medicine. And that's where I'm at. But it's really unfair because we now have award-winning products that have proven to be able to help people.
I was robbed in Washington, D.C. back in 2001 by 4 teenagers as I was walking home from McDonald's. This started me on my journey with post-traumatic stress disorder and debilitating anxiety. I was prescribed benzodiazepines by my doctor, and I was a zombie, and everyone could tell. I didn't like taking pharmaceuticals at all, so I started using marijuana, and it helped me tremendously. Like, I was able to function. I was able to go to college. I was able to work at my job and get through my day with no problems.
My name is Neil Franklin. I'm a 34-year police veteran from the state of Maryland and the current executive director of the Law Enforcement Action Partnership. For the past 10 years, I've been the executive director of the Law Enforcement Action Partnership and working to undo the most problematic piece of public policy since slavery. That's drug prohibition. Even with adult legalization of marijuana in numerous states across the country, that's medical and recreational purposes, we are still stopping, frisking, searching, and making 500,000 arrests for possession alone every year. This number does not include the thousands of times when people are stopped and searched, yet nothing is found, no reports are written. Every time the police interact with citizens, mainly black citizens, the potential for something to go wrong is very high. We need a system of regulation and control, which will best protect our children from exposure and will ensure that the safest products are being sold for those adults who choose to use.